So the Japanese did a thing. They ranked the top 20 strongest characters in One Piece. And just like normal, we in the West have something to say about it. Can't really do much, but we can talk about it. Now, the Japanese fans, if this is their rankings, I gotta say, I give my thoughts after the video. It's top 30 season. It's no secret. If you've been on Twitter, on YouTube, you're seeing people drop top 30s here and there, back and forth, because it's top 30 season. Everyone knows in December, top 30s are dropping. Expect mine to drop before the end of the month. But Japan, or at least voted by Japanese fans, and the source is GU Ranking, happens every year, they decided to rank the top 20 strongest characters of all time. I made a video like this about 2 years ago. It got destroyed, perpetually destroyed. People did not like it at all. So I want to see how you guys feel about the Japanese fans and how they rate the characters in the story, because a lot of you guys look at the Japanese fans as the authority. They're in Japan, they understand more, they know more. Well, you can't disagree with them, right? So let's see if they do actually know more. Let's start with number 20. Number 20 looked like they ranked Kozuki Oden. 20 all time doesn't seem that terrible, but it seems a bit high for Oden, considering he never really reached his full potential. But it's hard to judge before we attack the rest of the list. Number 19, we have Roxy Zebek. Every single person that voted should be drug tested. Seriously. Number 19 for Roxy Zebek, Roger's greatest foe, greatest rival. You can argue, literally, you can argue Rox being number 1, and you have him number 19. Okay, I really had low expectations for this list, but boy, they just got lower. Number 18, Fujitora. Not mad at it. Actually shocked Fujitora's on the list. Not a bad character. He's an admiral, so he has some cachet. But for the most part, in comparison to the characters of all time, I didn't think he'd rank that high. But I'm not mad at it. Now, number 17. They had Shiki. What the heck? Shiki, the man who was somewhat competing with Whitebeard and Roger for one of the greats at that time? If we had Yonko back then, the people we would have as Yonko, a Big Mom, Roger, Whitebeard, and Shiki more than likely. Not including Roxy Zebek, of course. So to have Shiki all the way down here at 17, did him losing to Garp and Sengoku drop him that bad? Did him getting arrested and thrown into Impel Down hurt him that strongly? Did him losing to Ed War drop him to 17? What did he do to deserve this? Did One Piece Strong World cause irreparable damage to Shiki and his clout? I can't lie. I'm appalled. Number 16, we have Kizaru. Not too bad. I understand Kizaru's stocks have dropped ever since he fought Luffy in Gear 5, even though it's a stalemate. That's what the Japanese fans say. You're not going to agree with them. But in the West, for the most part, people think Kizaru is buns. In Japan, he's still somewhat respected. And I say somewhat because of who is number 15. Number 15, they have King. Now, King has been thrown away over here in the West. We do not care about King at all, considering how he lost, and he has seemingly little to no battle IQ. Just keep your flame on. Just keep your flame on. And why is your name King with no Conquers Hockey? It's baffling. Maybe Oda had a plan for it, but then he changed his mind. I don't know. It would have made a lot more sense in my opinion. It's not my story though. Just saying. But King at 15, over Kizaru, over Shiki, Fujitora, over Rox, Oden? Okay, Zoro just beat King, and Zoro was just praising Oden, saying, yo, how were you able to master this sword the way you did? Which somewhat scales Oden still over Zoro. And we have King, the person who lost to Zoro, at number 15. Now, for Japanese people, I don't know if they're looking into it this deeply, but man, this list is not good. Number 14, we have Sengoku. Personally, I have Sengoku a bit higher all time, but I understand his name doesn't have the clout that Garp does, and for the most part, he's forgotten if you're not really enthralled in the community or just in the story in general. So 14 is not that bad, but 13 we have Aokiji. So all time, Japanese fans feel like Aokiji should be higher than Sengoku. Is that crazy? I don't know, maybe, but higher than Sengoku? I don't know. Number 12, we have Ben Beckman. We have literally seen nothing from this guy. Even in Film Red, all he did was swing around his gun. He used it as a bat, so we're gonna have him at number 12? Again, over Roxy Zebek? Okay, this is strictly Shanks tax, because I cannot, for the life of me, understand how Ben Beckman makes it this high with us never seeing anything from him. He better be Makino's baby daddy, or else we're gonna have serious problems. Number 11, we have Akainu. Now, for me, Akainu probably slightly higher all time, but him being number 11, considering how much the Japanese fans hate him, pretty good. They hate him, but they recognize that he is a strong combatant. To even have him over the previous Fleet Admiral Sengoku, maybe him destroying Kuma in a recent chapter did this? Not a bad ranking. Not gonna lie. Now we get into the top 10, and this is where things get, I wanna say, interesting. Number 10, they have Monkey D. Dragon. Now, Dragon for me has always been perpetually in my top 10, strictly because he's Luffy's dad and Garp's son. And if you're a monkey, you're gonna be strong. Well, a Monkey D, at least. So for Dragon, we really haven't seen much. He was in the Navy, he stopped smoker, he can use a little wind, he walks around, he sweats, but for the most part, that's about it. There's nothing more really to Dragon. But he's in the top 10 because he's a Monkey D, sorry. Number 9, and okay, this is a bit weird. Number 9, the Japanese people have Kaido. I understand Kaido just lost, but Kaido arguably has the highest counting stats in the story and is, I think, one of the strongest combatants all time based on everything he's shown. To have him number 9 is not the problem here. It's to have him number 9 and have Zoro at number 8. What are we doing? How do we have Zoro at number 8 over Kaido? He used his best attack, albeit his bones are broken at the time. Used his best attack, attacked Kaido, and Kaido says, nice. Good job. And we have Zoro over Kaido. This is just a popularity tax. This has nothing to do with strength. I refuse to believe it. Or the Japanese fandom completely skipped Wano. That's the only explanation I'll accept. Number 7, you have Monkey D. Luffy. All time. Remember, this is all time. I'm not too mad at it. I do have a slight issue with the people ahead of him, but I'm not too mad at Luffy being number 7 all time. He's a sun god, and Gear 5 is, let's be honest, guys, broken. I'm here for it. But number 6, Dev Silver's really must be the Roger tax, like Ben Beckman got the Shanks tax. Roger was really strong, so his right hand has to be really strong too, right? I guess so, but over Luffy all time. But this is Prime Ray. This is the Dark King. Someone in his old age who was able to stop an admiral in his tracks. I don't know. I don't hate it, I don't love it. Number 5, we have Monkey D. Garp. Now, Garp being number 5 all time isn't bad. That's top 5 all time of every character we've seen. Not gonna lie, after seeing Garp and Hachinosu, I think this man in his prime was a problem. There is no coincidence to the fact that him and Roger almost killed each other several times. So Garp, maybe we're underestimating him a bit. Number 4, this is a bit of a shocker, but Dracula Mihawk. Mihawk has been in the top 10 to 15 basically my entire time enjoying One Piece. It's been over a decade, but he's never been higher than he is now, considering his bounty is higher than even his quote-unquote captain. So off of that, the Japanese people feels like, well, Mihawk has to be strong. And so, the world's greatest swordsman, and if you use a live action, one of the strongest characters of all time. And number 3, I know some Mihawk fans are going to be up in arms considering he's a swordsman. Number 3, we have Shanks. And I know, this is the Japanese people. They feel the same way. They feel like even though Shanks is a swordsman, there's probably more to his bag to put him over Dracula Mihawk. Now, we can't really scale portrayal, but I think in the story, one could argue Shanks' portrayal has been over Dracula Mihawk, even though Mihawk is the world's greatest swordsman. But titles are becoming less and less important. I mean, Whitebeard was the strongest without being the strongest. Kaido was the strongest, bet on him, strongest creature ever until he wasn't. I mean, titles are important, I think. You have the title till you don't. If Zoro goes and beats Mihawk tomorrow, was Mihawk actually the strongest swordsman at the time? Or was Zoro always the strongest and Mihawk just had the title? Or maybe that gap between Zoro not being stronger than Mihawk, but then growing and being stronger than him without having the title, does that make the title fraudulent? You see how crazy that conversation is? I don't care either way, but it's really interesting to see how the Japanese fans feel about it. Number 2, they have Edward Newgate, Whitebeard, and number 1, obviously, they have Gold Roger. I've changed my mind on these two. At first, I had Primebeard over everyone by a decent margin. Now, I think I can't pick between Primebeard and Roger. Do you know what my reasoning is? I try to picture Roger and Whitebeard fighting, and for the life of me, I cannot see one of these men giving way. This is one of the few matchups in One Piece where I'm okay with saying this is a tie. No man would fall, no man would lose. These two are at the top of the verse all time. So Japan got this right. But guys, what did they get wrong? What do you have issues with? And what are you somewhat okay with? Give me your thoughts. Like, subscribe, follow me on Twitter at BragoDAce so we can continue the conversation over there. The list isn't terrible, but it isn't the best. Guys, the top 30 is coming soon. Wait on it.